That's the thing.
All right.
Welcome to the stage, NITO. How are you, man?
I'm good, brother.
I'm good, brother. How you doing, OJ?
Doing amazing. And needless to say, congratulations on being one of the people in the lineup for the incredible, amazing MUZZ. I have been listening to that man for over 10 years, ever since his debut in Mars Cat Riding the Storm, and that was in 2011.
Yep.
So to see him grow to where he is now with this amazing debut headline tour, amazing. But not as amazing as so many people who I've been listening and watching and seeing them on the rise in the lineup, from Dave to Agent 137, and of course you, someone who has been in the scene for quite a while, thanks to friends in the basement era, in that little stages, to of course opening for Little Texas in the side stage during his tour, and now for you to be in the lineup with someone as incredible as MUZZ, needless to say, I'll have to say again, forgive me for sound like a broken record, congratulations, I'm so proud of you, man.
Yo, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the good words too. I'm like, it really is kind of crazy. I was like getting a little bit nervous coming for this interview because I was like, it's been a minute. Like it really has been. And I recall even seeing you around like from those synchro heart bars. And I think it's really starting to hit me too after I've been listening to MUZZ for years too, by the way. Like I was just going down memory lane, like the remixes he had for like pegboard nerds and stuff like that. Like those early Monster Cat dubstep days, like when he used to collab with Protostar a lot of the times. Those were his tunes were some of the first ones when I really started deep diving into D&B, even when I was like still a dubstep head kind of on like big bro step era type shit. Yeah, MUZZ is one of the first artists, so it always baffles me how huge these artists are when like you known them on SoundCloud for years and then the progression happens, they come over to the US and you're just like, holy shit, like so I'm super hyped for what's going on, and you know, DMB's having its moment, and I've been riding that train for a little bit now, so it's like I'm hyped for the opportunity, grinding from those basements, like you said, to now an opportunity like this. I'm ready to go crazy, man.
I can hardly wait and see the footage of you absolutely going crazy along with the rest, because someone as incredible as MUZZ, for him to bring people like you, for him to even notice you and put you on the lineup, I said to myself, yeah, NITO is definitely going places. Now I have to ask, where did this all begin? Because it seems like this all like started right around when, sadly, the world was in a lockdown. That's when we had, I think, the very first like NITO showcase in 2020.
Yep.
How did this whole thing really begin?
Well, my DJ journey didn't start with the NITO project. It was more so like I've been DJing for the past like 10 years, pretty much. Like started as like a college hobby thing. I was always into music, always like did music. I used to play classical guitar, used to do music like that, used to make rap beats. Um, but then the DJ thing kind of happened for me in like 2014 when I got exposed to like bass music and trap music and that whole like era, like with Keys and Crates, Zomboy, Flux Pavilion, all those kind of guys. Like that's when I really started getting into the scene like that. And then I picked up DJing from there. So it was like at first I was doing more dubstep, top 40 stuff. But then, like you said, it wasn't until like 2019 after I kind of had was like finished with my previous tenure, which was doing videography. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like I had a first row seat to watching other people do the thing that I wanted to do. So it was like, you know what? Let me just start pursuing this. I started NITO 2019 around there, and then the world shut down. So every like little momentum I had was like, all right, well, it's time to take a step back, learn the production side of things, and you know, things started paying off once the world opened back up. I met a bunch of amazing people from like synchro event team to like Wabi Sabi, who I really
NYC, Sound So Sweet, and all these amazing like smaller like collectives that I've been kind of been seeing them like be on the come up ever since like we started opening things up once again. Even synchro events was started like, you know, as an answer to trying to bring something to New York City scene that really needed that type of musical connection. And so for you to join the bandwagon and like, you know, give a type of energy to the people around you is nothing short of amazing, nothing short of just me saying thank you for that. We sincerely appreciate you for being a part of that, like movement. I know people say it's just a little collective here and there, but no, it was a movement. And for all the people that notice you and give you that opportunity, I'm just so proud that they saw the power within you. From Subsound, like I mentioned, it sounds so sweet, to even the homie collective
Yeah.
campouts. That's like festival scene, and of course Moonwalk Festival.
Yep.
So the opportunities have definitely been lining up. I'm just curious to know which one was like made you feel like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I am doing something here. I can't believe I'm here doing that, and it's really like coming to fruition.
Yeah, I got a it was recently when I got to open for Alex Perez.
Alex
That one
Perez,
was
yeah.
like that blew my mind because that one came super quick. It was like a text like I think like 2 days before. And it was like, "Hey, do you want to open for Perez?" I'm like, "Holy fuck, they know who I am." Like my name is getting out there like it's kind of weird. Like I always tell my boys and like some of my other fellow producers and stuff like that. Like Rain is one of my confidants. So I always
Mm-hmm.
talk to him about it like he's kind of been on a similar trajectory, but more so for dubstep, right? Where it's like we both kind of linked up at the same time, kind of shooting up right now, and it's like it's weird to think that a lot of the OGs we saw in the scene are giving us like telling us like, no, you guys are onto something here, you know. So it's just kind of weird. It's surreal almost, you know. But the Perez moment was definitely like, holy shit, because I love Alex Perez, love that music, love the dubstep side of him, love the drum and bass side of him, love what he does with 1985, his record label, all that type of stuff. He's a legend in the game, and just to be considered to be a part of that, it really meant like, you know what, I've got some traction. It's time for me to really lock in and focus and get everything cleaned up for NITO in 2025.
Understood. I mean that's definitely a huge accomplishment in the NITO journey. I was surprised that you would say something like that, and not like, I don't know, like the first ever like, festivals that you opened up for. I
Mm.
don't know, something like, I don't know, Manifest, the very
Hey,
first one.
manif-
That was the one
yeah,
where I actually like, saw and really saw a bit of the power of NITO. I still keep these mementos
uh,
here and there because
uh,
that was something that really blew me away. So for you to be part of something like Manifest,
yeah,
again, bring something to the NYC scene that was supposed to be like meaningful. So it's
mhm,
supposed to show people that we have people here in
yeah.
NYC who are tearing it up, who are really talented, and they need the attention. How do you feel open for something like
Yeah.
Manifest for
Manifest,
3 years in a
manifest,
row?
yeah, Manifest was that's just Manifest is always a magnificent festival. I gotta say, the best festival in New York. I will say that with my whole chest. Synchro throws on something amazing, and you can't forget Radiate. They throw on something amazing with those festivals every year. And you're right. The Alvarez one meant like a lot because it was like a legend of mine. But you're right. Manifest is some of the most fun I have, like just mixing. And again, it was just you know for a lot of future DJs and stuff who really want to get their foot in the door. I got in like with Synchro up just by showing up to open decks and then just, kind of putting myself out there. You got to show up, do your 15 minutes, whatever you can to try to get like your sound out there. And luckily they saw the vision and you just got to pick up the phone sometimes when those last minute calls happen. Cause the first manifest I played for 2022, damn, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's been some time. That was just a call. It was like day before. It was like, hey, somebody dropped out. Do you want to fill in? I'm like, yep, I'm there. Threw down that set. They've been calling me every year since, so something good there. And
So you can say
just putting out good
that
vibes. Good
was your
energy.
like synchro debut.
Exactly.
Understood. That's amazing. That's amazing to know. And ever since then, I feel like the rest was history with you
Pretty
guys.
much. They were like, "Oh, this kid could throw down. All right, he's solid with us."
Yep, and just like that, we've been seeing you in the Heart Bar, been seeing you in other manifests as well, 2023,
Mhm.
24. I'm guessing, hopefully, if it happens this year, 2025, I hopefully,
Hopefully, listen. Fingers crossed. I gotta find out. I gotta hit up. I gotta hit up the team, the powers that be. Be like, "Hey, what's going on there?"
I can hardly wait, and hopefully we will see that name on that lineup very soon this year. I'm very curious to know as well, and throughout a lot of your journey, of course, you have been doing this for the past 10 years. That I did not know. I
Yeah.
thought it was like, no, it was NITO and then bam, that was it. But no, there was a
Nah.
lot more
Yeah.
work before then. Of course, like you said, it was a lot of dubstep, a lot of like,
Mhm.
bass, bro step, listening to those songs. What got you to like want to like traverse in drum and bass? Were there any artists that really like stuck out to you and said, what, they're
Mhm.
doing drum and bass, it sounds pretty
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome, let me
Yeah.
see what I can do?
Yeah. I've always kind of like sprinkled it in, so I always knew of DMBs, so to speak. But it wasn't until I really started taking into the deep dive of like artists like Noisia, Cohen Sound, like these sound design wizards where I'm like, what is going on right now? Teddy Killers is another one that I really love. That's the sound like I've been like they're up there for with them for me. Um, let's see who else. Who else? Let's see. I gave good
Take
three.
your time. Take your
Let
time.
me give like a little two more for a top five, I guess. Imanu is killing the game right now. Sadly, couldn't see him come through, but I think
Mhm.
he is amazing. Does great multi-genre work, but his drum and bass is fantastic. Um, and there's like a movement that really I could really pinpoint of like a few younger dudes from like Europe, from like Netherlands, France, those areas who just really put out some amazing music. And I'm like, I gotta get like something just like I gotta do this. You know what I mean? Like this is I love this. This is what I have to do. And then you can't turn down the good dance floor bangers like Dimension on the run he's had. Sub Focus has been a legend for years. Like always loved his music. Culture Shock, those Worship Gang guys is great.
1991.
Yep, exactly. And then even my man Rusko, he's on some drum and bass tip, and he's always kind of been, but now he's like gone full tilt, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Love seeing that man dance around.
That is amazing. So like pretty much that was I think that was like those a lot of those that Arj mentioned was like in the Worship like series I believe.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like okay one Cold Shots of Focus Dimension. They were all like in the lineup there, and that was something incredible to see bringing that kind of drum and bass
Yeah.
power to the to like all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention you also had the opportunity to witness like people a lot of people say the homeland of drum and bass.
Yeah.
How did it feel to like witness some legends in where people say drum and bass was technically born?
Bro, let me tell you, it's like one of those things where it's like I even if you like aren't a drum and bass fan, go into a drum and bass show. So specifically, I saw AMC, who is a madman. For those people who aren't up on AMC, he is one of the best DJs, technically, and he just rhythm is one thing with double and tripling, but like drum and bass is a whole different beast, and that man just goes like he just knows go, and he's phenomenal. And then I saw
If you
Soda.
could, if you could elaborate, how much of a beast is like playing drum and bass to a crowd? If you're saying that it's different from like rhythm, like you're basically chopping, you're basically
Yeah,
switching from like one song to the next. What is about drum and bass that like is different?
I just think you're going at a way faster speed too. So it's like you have that technical aspect that I think most DJs understand, like blending, transitioning songs, all that stuff. But also you have to deal with the fact that you are on a higher BPM, whereas maybe the 140 might be a bit more forgiving. But when you're at
Mm-hmm.
175 BPM and stuff like that, and the drums are hitting so hard, and like a lot of the basses are technically made, like there's been like a lot of sound design aspect that goes into it. You got to be careful. You got to be careful up there. So to double songs up and to transition clean like someone like AMC can,
Mm.
phenomenal. Like for people who like listen or don't really know, like any Let It Roll AMC set on YouTube, just watch it. Watch what that man does. He does like DJ trips. He juggles. He scratches. Amazing. Yeah, and then what else? Soda I saw there. SOTA. He's a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal jump up guy. I think Subtronics brought him recently, I want to say, or somewhere on his tour. He brought him to one of the cities, and that is a madman. Like everybody knows the songs, like everybody's singing the tune, like the melody and everything. The energy is off the charts, like. But it's I gotta say, a few weeks ago I saw Reaper, Rebel Scum, and Segan, I believe it was,
Mm-hmm.
and that energy was very comparable. Where the crowd is like all around Reaper, and he's just going at it like that's we're getting there. Like the
Yeah.
movement has been crazy, and I think it's only gonna get crazier.
It's only get crazier, and I can easily attest to the power that Rebel Scum, Reaper, and Segan, those guys have been
Hmm.
bringing to the drum and bass scene. I'm so proud of them all. I should
Yeah,
know because I've seen them all live multiple times, and I've interviewed all of them
nice.
before. So
Oh
I
yeah,
already, I've been doing I had like quite a lot of like interviews with guys who know drum and bass and solely that
hmm
from like Reaper, Rebel Scum, Sagan, and
hmm
even
Ooh,
Bensley, Justin Hawks, Rohan, even
yeah,
Craze.
yeah.
Craze the Rolling, the
Yeah,
legendary
Craze
Craze.
the Legend. Yeah,
He
my
started getting
favorite
into drum and
DJ.
bass.
By the way, for me to interject, one of the craziest. I said AMC is a beast, but Craze is the goat. Like he is amazing live, especially when he does a drum and bass set. I've seen him two times do a drum and bass set, and again. technical ability, the best. Tune selection, the absolute best. Just goes crazy, balls to the wall the whole time. I recommend everyone to try to see a Craze DMB set.
Remember that, guys.
Yep.
Remember the name Craze. If he comes to your land playing live,
Yep.
do not miss it.
Yep.
Believe me, I have seen him and Trohan absolutely tear it up in the meadows.
Yeah.
They do not hold back, and
Oh,
I wouldn't want any other
oh
way.
yeah, brother.
Now the question is like I'll throw this in there as well, because here's the thing: a lot of people do say a drum and bass seems and sounds a bit intimidating because it's like it's so fast, it goes hard to the paint, it does not, it pretty much latches onto you and does not let go. It's like a bite of a pit bull. When it's onto you, it will not let go until it wants to let go. So it's curious, like, no, how does one I don't know, move to drum and bass? How does one rock out the drum and bass? If you want to like, answer some of those questions or those doubts in people's heads, how does one move to drum and bass? I'm curious to hear your side of this.
I'm all about the nobody knows how to like just get fun, have fun. Like my whole thing since I really started the NITO project. Yes, I have serious artist ambitions of what I want to do with it. But at the end of the day, I was a DJ first, and I do want people to have fun. So it's like, if you want to do a wacky chicken dance that's on beat or off beat, have fun, go crazy, go balls to the wall. Like it's a fast genre, it's a fun genre. Just whatever you feel like, just let the music take you over. I feel like you can't try to force yourself too much to be like, oh, I need to move a certain way. Listen, if you want to just do a little two-step rock to the boom cat, that's fine. But also, if you want to, want to jump in place, you want to do some hardstyle kind of dance, then go for it.
Understood.
I think it's whatever you want it to be, however you want to move to the music, however the music moves you, and I think that's true to any genre. However the music moves you, just let it take you over. Go in with an open mind. Don't say because, oh, well, maybe I heard this one song, I don't like the genre. Before this big drum and bass explosion, I know a lot of people who were like, "Ah, drum and bass, that's what you're doing? Ah, shouldn't you do something else?" Come around these few days, these recent days, all of their favorite DJs are playing drum and bass or making it in some type of capacity. So now it's like, the zeitgeist always changes, but just let the music move you, man.
Definitely, just let it move you. That's all that matters. And I will also mention as well, due to how you explain the type of energy of drum and bass, what about your singles? Because it seems like you're trying to get the same energy in what you're trying to make now. Originally, I gotta speak about the one song that was the first ever single that came out from NITO, Resonate.
Yeah.
How did that come to be, and what was the energy you're trying to give into your original music?
Well, the energy I want to do is that fun, flair of some old school stuff, but also give it a little bit of new flair. Resonate was particularly was an interesting one because I like jump up drum and bass, by the way. My main subgenres, I guess, are jump up, neurofunk, stuff like that. Heavier, more fun stuff. But Resonate was just trying to make what I like. I love those old school dubstep sounds. I love the energy of drum and bass and that nature of catching you into a vibe. So that's really what I was going for with that one. Yeah.
Understood. And regarding some of the collaborations you have, of course, we already talked about Rain a bit.
Yeah.
Rain is absolutely incredible. But also, the first collaboration that I've heard regarding NITO was with Zombrila, another synchro events type of legend in the scene with the song Spacious. Yeah. How did it feel to collaborate with someone incredible as him?
He was great because I still consider myself very novice producer. And someone like him who makes rhythm primarily, but also we had a good friendship, just talking, behind the scenes stuff or anything that's going on. I consider that him one of my brothers in the scene I could really talk to. But also he, it was a time when I really wanted to elevate my production, and he would just come over and just lay some stuff out, lay some drums out, teach me a few things here and there. I'll teach him a few things I know. And it just that track just kind of came out organically. We found a cool sample that we both liked, and then from there it's just it's good. It's interesting and cool in this scene when you find like-minded creative minds, and it's like you could just bounce ideas off of, and you're like, oh, this would sound good if we do this. Oh, what if we did this? What if we did that? What if we did this? What if we did that? And it was just one of those things happened organically, and you gotta love it. You can't you can't not pay attention to those moments, you know?
Understood, and that's amazing to hear you guys have the synergy together with you and him. And the same can be said as well with the song
Yeah.
Flustered, which I not know was mixed and mastered with the help of another legendary artist,
Yes,
Second
sir.
Nature. How did it feel to make that?
That one was that one was pretty great. What happened with that one? I think I'm trying to remember the exact story, but Zom had sent me some like a 8 bar loop or something, and I was like, oh, this would be. I had know exactly what to do with this. I know exactly how to like clean it up, fix it, what to add, and that one happened really fast. You know, they say like sometimes when you try to produce and overproduce, you kind of just lose idea. With that one,
Mhm.
it was done within like a week. It would really just happen so quick. He passed off the file to me, and then from there, it just happened. And then I added the flustered part. If you don't know, that's me singing on it.
Wow. So you
So
got your
that's
own vocals,
yeah.
your
So I got my
own
own
vocals
vocal
in.
track. Let's go. you know. So, but that's also something preview for future releases. Trying to do more of that. Um, they say, "What's your voice in music?" Why not just use my own? But yeah, that one was just pretty much the same. I had the idea in my head. When I think of you, I get flustered, and then from there, I just recorded that, and then the whole song just kind of happened after that. Just some sound designing, and then I was like, you know what? Let's not overthink it. Let's just let it play out. Let it ride.
Right, and I feel like with a lot of the songs, especially I think was it I think it was either in Synchro Basement or like somewhere else I believe where you like played it out, but first one you ever played out
Mhm.
to the crowd and like saw the
Yeah,
reaction to you and Zombrila. Was it Flustered or was
it
it
was.
Spacious?
I think it was
Okay,
Spacious was the first one on like
okay.
the heart bar. Yeah,
I I gotta say, I remember you guys came out together. And I was like, is this a brand new song from the guys? And absolutely, people went
yeah,
insane over it. I still had the footage of that, and it
yeah.
was pretty dang incredible to witness. Again, that type of warehouse type energy that we
hmm
see in so many shows that I feel like a lot of artists are really trying to embrace now because
hmm
that's how it all began in
Yeah.
a lot of these shows in the 90s, like in the 80s, sometimes when it was starting to really build and start to spread to the masses,
hmm
we don't have the internet, we don't have like computers or phones at the time.
Yeah.
It was all word by mouth.
Yep.
You had to like know where to go and how to like know go to these certain places that like to like really feel type of music and
hmm
hear that type of sound throughout the whole place just
Yeah.
booming throughout you. So my question to you is this: do you want to try and bring that type of energy back to the mainstream of drum and bass, or are you more used to like it being a proper venue with the people there and like
hmm
just letting the sound system
Yeah.
take over that type of thing?
I
What feeling like resonates more to
I
you?
really don't mind either way. I do love the energy of having something intimate, warehouse vibes, like very early, like almost old school rave vibes. But hey, some of the sound systems they make these days are absolutely insane and nutty, and the clarity you hear on certain like these certain systems, you're like, whoa. So I think I'm not opposed to either. I think there's like times and places for both, I guess. Not so much time and place, but there's a vibe for each. Like, you know what I mean? Like if there's a sound system set, I think it would be different than if it was like probably what this silo set's gonna be. If the Reaper show gives any indication on how nutty this is gonna be, that might just be a straight banger set. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe on like a sound system, I'll play more interesting like sound designed work. You know, that sound design songs. Maybe try some things out. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. But I also got to say too and interject. It's also that's why I make it a point where when I connect with a lot of these older school ravers like Dave and Agent who are on this lineup who have been kind of doing this since before I've been born, like I always
Mhm.
try to connect with them, be like, hey, listen, like I want to hear some stories about back in the day, like where were y'all going? Who was like popping off back then? What was like the vibe like? How did you even find out about this? I think those stories are some of like the most interesting stories because not only did they have to really search for it and like know where to go to find like records, artists, all this type of stuff, they're still doing it to this day. Like they're still at the very forefront. So first and foremost, got to give props to Dave and Agent and that Driven AM crew who have really
Mhm.
been holding it down for drum and bass in New York and East Coast wide for a very long time. From before even I was really knee deep into it, they've been holding it down, killing it. So big ups to them.
and we're going to be seeing them holding it down, I'm guessing, this
Oh,
Friday,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
What I'm about to say, the legacy of what they've done so far for the scene, for the EDM scene, will keep on continuing. And I've seen it before, thanks to like last year when they were with Rohan, when they were with Craze, opening for them. Dave, you're absolutely freaking incredible. You're gonna do the same thing in the MUZZ show. And now I gotta talk about this because this I feel like is also important too.
Okay.
For every artist, there's always, of course, the fans, the people who are really digging their music, but it's also the support crew, the people that they're around that can also build them up. We have to talk about this lady who is in the chat right now, Maribeth. Am I hope saying her name properly? I want to say Maribel. Okay, I did. Maribeth, the sweetheart that you met almost 10 years ago, just at a bus stop, and 10 years later, you guys popped the question, got married, and I got asked, is she your rock? Was she the one really helping you, like, supporting you and being your cheerleader throughout, like, the music journey?
Oh yeah, she's been with me from the she's been with me through so many stages of life. You gotta think 10 years, that's a decade. You go through a whole lot of changes in 10 years from what is it? How old was I 10 years ago? From 20 to 30. It's a lot of years. But also she's seen me change. She's been my rock. She always keeps it real with me. She holds it down. Listen, that's my number one bullshit caller right there. If I tell her like, hey, how do you feel about this? She's like, I don't think about it. I don't think that's a good look. That's my social media manager right there. That's my rock. That's the wife.
Wow. So she's the one who's been like in your IG a lot of times here and there. Was she the one doing the stories, all that stuff? She's in charge of it.
I joke when I say like that, but if I post something, she's like, I don't think you should post that. That's not a good look. You know what I mean?
Okay. Understood. Yeah. So she's like that type of manager, and that's amazing. Maribeth, we sincerely appreciate you so much being there through the highs, through the lows, and everything in between. I'm just so proud, and I had to mention that because again, I don't think there's anything more magical than like you finally meet someone that you rock with, who rocks with you, who will accept you for all that you are, bad or good, and see the wedding photos, the footage.
Thank you.
I couldn't help but crack a smile and be like, wow, that's a beautiful sight to see. Anything. I'm not gonna cry any tears or anything. Not like I had a napkin next to me when I saw the video. Okay, I kind of did a bit. Okay, fine. But again, I'm so proud of both of you and being there for one another. That's absolutely incredible. Now, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a little Alexander in the family?
No, there's not a little Alexander.
Okay, I was going to say. For a second, I thought there was. I was going to say, my apologies. So I had to ask. I thought there was someone had a child, and it was like, oh my gosh, they just got married. They have a child now. It's like, oh my gosh, it's growing. But my fault.
Let's see how some of this career stuff turn up. It's hard to try to think of some tour things when you got the little baby, but we'll see. We're working on it. You know what I mean?
Understood. My apologies. I had at least asked that for a quick sec. It's not happening. We'll go right along.
Now, it's all good. It's all good. But thank you. I do have to attest to what you said. It is really a beautiful thing when you find someone and you're like, all right, you accept me for all the fucking weird oddities that I have. Like, let's be real. Being a DJ is kind of a weird career choice to want to do, and it's a hard one because there's gonna be a long time when nobody's gonna know your name, but you're dedicating hours to this thing, making weird beeps and boops. You gotta really love it, and I'm glad that she saw and accepted my love for it, and she loves and accepts my love for it today. So can't be mad at that. That's everything you want.
Well, the big question is this: does she also rock with drum and bass?
She rocks with drum and bass, but she is more critical about it than I am. I'll accept more tunes. She's more like, this is kind of, but she's still more of a dubstep girly. So
Okay, understood. So you know what? She's still a winner. She's still a winner. I know for a lot of people, it's like a question: do you like these type of artists? That it's like, not really. Okay, we let bye.
I'm more open-minded to her music taste. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to force. I never really tried to force my music take on other people because I know objectively to the masses, they're like, "What the fuck are you playing?" Like, my family still thinks I play techno. They still like, "Oh yeah, you play that techno stuff?" I'm like,
well,
go down.
I wouldn't say like no, because again, hard techno is still kind of similar to like drum and bass. I mean, you wouldn't mind playing a bit of that in your set, would
so I'm
you?
like, they're technically not wrong. Like I do play, like I will play some techno, you know, some four on the floor that could be considered hard techno, but you know, it is what it is.
Right. I'm about to say, like, have you listened to Chase and Status and the work they've done? They are pretty big on drum and bass, techno a bit, not just the whole like Baladon thing. They're pretty legendary too. So it kind of evens out a bit. So
that's why I've one thing that really I guess like when I was first coming up, I found a lot of love with it. And I gotta give them a shout out too. Was like the hardstyle community gave me a lot of love when I just didn't really have much to play. Like from audio files to Sound So Sweet to that little Texas show to SSS, they all showed love when it was just like I kind of am playing a harder genre. And big ups to Bass of Spades, who had brought me for the Homie Collective thing, because he's a good hardstyle producer and homie, and we went back to back before, and it was one of the most magical things to see. Like, oh, we're both at 170. Let's do something crazy here, like, you know. So, shouts out to them.
That's amazing. Bass of Spades, thank you so much as well for putting him in the Homie Collective campouts. And of course, we got to get those people who also put you on Moonwalk, because again, another pretty legendary festival in NYC. Well, not NYC, just New York in general. That's also something to like be amazed about. Did you think you would ever be in a lineup like that?
No, I really didn't. It was one of those things that kind of just came into fruition through word of mouth. Like, I guess whatever energy I was putting out there just brought me to Moonwalk. Didn't go last year, sadly, but 2025 Moonwalk, I'm looking at you because there's a lot of things on the way that I think a NITO set at 2025 Moonwalk will be fantastic, you know?
Right. And what about the other festivals out there that's happening in New York? Why not, I don't know, why not Big Dub or Little Dub?
Listen, Big Dub, that application's in. Let's see what happens. Like
you sent your application already.
I submitted just like everybody else. Let's see if they want to put me for the contest. Let's go for the contest. I'll mix down with anybody. I ain't scared. But hey, listen, if I got a proper set, we'll go off anyway.
I can hardly wait to see that. And of course, have you sending a few things I don't know to Reaper, to Rebel Scum, hearing what they thought. Because again, believe it or not, when I talked to Rebel Scum, all it took for him was just sliding the DMs with Reaper and him being a part of Critical Mass Volume 1, being a part of his tour. So you send him a few of what you got and see what happens, because he is always looking to see who will be the next generation. So I'm just take it or leave it. I'm just putting it out there. Reaper is one man who is always open.
I'm writing it down. But no, seriously, that is one of the game plans. I feel like a lot of I am now starting to understand that I need to utilize these social channels a bit more, you know? Like, people are just a DM away. If they don't see it, then boo-hoo. But if they see it, then it's like, oh, they're either playing the tune out, giving it some love, and then if anything, they just want to hear more. They just want to, you know, egg you on. So I definitely, I feel like I always personally put up like a guard when it comes to other bigger artists. I don't want to be like that guy, but also like you kind of have to be that guy if you want to be the guy. So,
right. I mean, I definitely understand. I've been in the same boat as well. Like, some of these artists who I'm like speaking to, or I was just like interacting with, or like asking if I want to talk to them or learn about their journey. I'm scared as well. I'm thinking of I have this much of a following. Are they even gonna care? Are they even gonna care about someone like me? But it's like, dude, I had the opportunity to speak to someone like Abstract, speak to someone like Hotel Garuda, speak to people like Fona and all these people who are pretty up there, and it's like, dude, I didn't think they would notice me, but they did, because they see the energy that I'm bringing out in this way or this different form. So it's like, this is someone who actually cares. So I had that going for me. But all it takes is just you just shooting your shot, as people say. I hate saying that, because it's like, why are we saying shoot your shot? God dang it. But it's like, you're just networking with people. Just speak with them, see what happens, and you'll know what type of opportunities will come your way. And again, for someone like me, people ask, like, how do you get like to this or that? Like, can you talk to this person, that person? I always tell them this response: all you have to do is ask.
All you gotta do, worst they can say is no.
And the worst thing they can say is no, but you'll never know if you don't take that chance.
Amen to that.
Yes,
Amen to that.
and I feel that's not advice only for just music or
Yeah.
for DJing. That's for life in
Yep.
general. You never know what happens if you don't like know step someone and say, "Hey, I really dig what you're doing here. Can we do something this or that XYZ?" And you don't know what type of things will happen
Hmm.
if you don't step up or like be brave enough. I feel like a lot of people aren't really brave enough to like
Hmm.
actually step forward, but I want them to like break that shell,
Yeah.
like that. Don't just keep the guard up. Sometimes open that
Yeah.
door and see what
And that's
happens.
really kind of what happened for me. I just opened the door on DJ stuff. I was like, you know what? I've always loved music. I've always made music for myself. I made like tons of mixes for myself before I started the NITO project, like that would probably never see the light of day. But I was like, you know what? What do I have to lose at the end of the day? But I'm right there on the plan with you. I've been collecting emails once these tunes get finished up and mixed and mastered by Second Nature, by the way. Plug for my man's. He's legend in the game. Also, mix and masters great. He knows sound systems. Once I send it off to him, get some of those back, we're gonna be moving in. You
I
know.
can hardly wait. And speaking of which, this at least my last question here. What is going to be next for NITO after the MUZZ show?
Well, after the MUZZ show, next up currently have on the docket is 419. That's going to be a
Yeah,
420 drum and bass party.
the
That's gonna
MYDDM show
yep,
with you and Rain.
yep,
I can hardly wait to
yep.
see that and see what you're bringing. Because again,
Yep.
knowing MYDDM and after speaking with him and seeing where he's going to take his project,
Yeah.
are you kind of nervous that are you gonna try like mix a bit of that like rhythm and drum and bass thing with Rain? Are you
Yeah.
gonna have that type of
I
synergy when
mean,
April comes around?
being that like I did come from playing rhythm and dubstep first when I first came out the NITO project, I feel like we got to go straight rhythm project. Like I feel like we got to go straight rhythm set. Just for the one time, I got to show these kids I know what's good. Like I got to show them them chopping skills did not go away. They're there. But also we're trying to work on some stuff too. To like have some originals for that, because that's that's a fun thing to do. I like this idea that's been coming up recently of, people feeling a lot more open about getting outside their comfort zone when it comes to production. Like I've noticed, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of these dubstep guys that I've loved are now making drum and bass. They're making garage. They're making UKG. They're making all these other types of genres. Why not us do it ourselves? He plays like more old school dubstep halftime stuff. I do drum and bass, do a little bit of dubstep stuff. Why not? We just do a wild rhythm set for the kids, for the Firo rhythm rats, you know?
Right. And like you said, let them know that it's not. I'm not just a drum and bass type
Yeah,
person. I have been in your shoes before. I have
yeah,
seen these shows
yep,
before. So like you said, these like that rhythm mentality has not
yep.
left me
It
at
has not.
all.
I've been slowly collecting. I've been collecting rhythms over the years. Don't worry, I just haven't played them. But don't worry, that's gonna be a nuts show. That's
And
gonna be
it's
a nuts
all
show.
gonna
I'm hyped for
show.
that.
It's all gonna be shown when April comes
Yes,
around.
sir.
I can hardly freaking wait. And
That's
aside
exciting.
from that, anything else, or is it just April and then that's
Um,
pretty much it for
have
2025?
the have the Mythm show. I have another one on 419 with it's a drum and bass party.
Mhm.
That's gonna be with Baby Wolf. Rain is also on that.
Oh yes.
Yep, the homie Ultra put that together. She's also fantastic. She's another old school raver who also is a killer DJ, plays on vinyl, still killing it, and she's been throwing a bunch of shows recently. So yep, that's what's next, and then we'll see what the future holds. I have some originals that I'm trying to get into the pipeline and scheduled. Trying to put out an EP this year.
Hmm.
I think it's about time. I feel confident with my production and what I've been doing so far. So I think it's about that time. Mainly, it's showing people that I could do the production thing too. Is really what 2025 is set for. But we'll see what comes. We'll see what comes up.
I can hardly wait. And
Hopefully
of
some fun.
course, like we were mentioned before, Manifest 2025.
Oh yeah, that has to happen. I haven't got an official word, but I'll start asking the people who I need to ask.
Yes, again, we're both pretty versed in the whole synchro events thing. We know who to talk to.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I
We
might
know
hit them
who
up
to go to.
I might hit them up after this. Be like, yo, LJ told me. He was like, yo, 2025, we gotta make this happen.
Again, I have been there since the first.
Yeah, since the first. Damn, you
I
got it
keep
right
them
there
all.
on
I keep
hand.
them all.
You got it right on hand. I
I,
like that. That was
yep,
a
I
good one.
have
I
all
gotta.
three. Oh, sorry. But again, thank you guys so much for letting me have a chance to speak with you. Again, I did not know this would be your very first ever, interview type
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
for throughout the NITO project. I was like, dang, I'm honored to be the first.
Yeah, I appreciate you for that, man. I'm honored, like, to at least, I feel like I don't really open up too much. Like, I do on social media, like, I post often, but I don't really chat to the masses, I guess, or like just show personality. So thank you for that. It feels good. Might have to,
It's not
might have to
absolute
talk to the
honor
people more.
again. And thank you. This is just what I love to do. This to highlight the people out there who are doing such incredible things, who are being noticed by such incredible people. I said to myself again, to see someone like you, to be noticed by someone as incredible as MUZZ, that is something to be commendable. That's something that's supposed to be that's admirable. And I can hardly wait to see you tear it up out there February 21st. I can hardly freaking wait. No, I said I would not be there. I have another interview booked in 21st with the legendary rapper in the Brooklyn Paramount. I could not believe he knows who I was. It was the vocalist for Apache, if you know who he is, Wasu.
Oh, okay. Dang. All right.
I could not believe it. My first ever interview with a rapper. Ever.
See, we talking about just hit those DMs and then, something might come up.
Yes, and that's what happened. I just shot my shot and he said, yeah, let's do it. And it was like, what?
Yes. Congrats on that, brother. Congrats on that.
Thank you. So, but again, even though I may not be there for the MUZZ show, believe me, it hurts my heart, my Marsh Cat heart, because I've been listening to MUZZ for over 10 years, all of his incredible work. But believe me, I am rooting for you, NITO. I am rooting for you, Agent 137. I am rooting for you, Dave. I'm rooting for everyone in there to tear it up out there in South Brooklyn, because something tells me that 360 show, that 360 drum and bass show is going to hit so hard, especially with all of you coming out there and showing people the power and the prowess and the beauty of drum and bass. Letting people know that it does not matter how you move to it, how you groove to it. It's about just letting it take over. You just embracing the culture and just having fun with it. Doesn't matter if you're doing the two-step. Doesn't matter if you're doing the high knees. I thought for a second, I thought if you're doing drum and bass, you gotta do the high knees. You have got to do the high knees to the beat. And I'm like, again,
if it's a good running, rolling bass, you bump the high knees, do whatever you want, If the knee's not that good because you've been raving for a while, just do a little two-step,
Right, and that's all that matters. But again, I am 26 years old. I'm still trying to not skip leg days. I want my knees to still be in peak condition, especially if I'm going to more drum and bass shows, or especially if I see you live again. I want to make sure I am ready. My legs, my arms, my body is ready for what you'll be delivering in the future. So again, NITO, thank you so much for your time. I sincerely appreciate you letting me be the first person to speak to you about your journey and how far you have been going so far. I don't really see what's coming up next for NITO. Thank you again so much. Honored and blessed. And of course, thanks to my Second Nature for joining in a bit. He was in the chat too. I not believe it, but hey, Second Nature, we love you, man. We all love you.
Love you, brother. And thank you so much, LJ, for the interview, for the opportunity to talk to some people and just to chat about the journey. It's been like, damn, I never really, sat down and reminisced like that. So thank you so much. A lot of big things to come. And thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Honored and blessed, man. Honored and blessed. Thank you again so much. I can hardly wait to see what's coming next for NITO. I'm sorry. I can't wait for March. Can't wait for April. Oh my God. It's going to be amazing. 2025, like I say to a lot of people, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart, it's going to be your year. It is going to be the year of NITO. I can hardly see what's coming up next. Thank you again so much.
All right. Peace, man. Have a good one.
Peace, man. Thank you.